Welcome back to Southern Ghost Stories. I'm your host, the American Haunt Historian, Alan Searcy. In the last episode, I told you about the Nashville City Cemetery. If you hadn't already checked it out, please download it and check it out. Lots of fun and weird history in that historic burying ground. Today, I'm going to talk about the eerie Headless Horseman story from Kentucky. But I want to back up for a second. The Headless Horseman is one of those characters that instantly conjures up images of dark, foggy nights and eerie, deserted roads. But have you ever wondered where this legend actually comes from? The most famous version of the Headless Horseman comes from Washington Irvin's 1820 short story, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. It's set in a small New York village, and it follows the story of Ichabod Crane, a superstitious schoolteacher who encounters the terrifying figure. In Irvin's tale, the Headless Horseman is said to be the ghost of a Hessian soldier who lost his head to a cannonball during the American Revolution. He rides forth to the scene of the battle in a nightly quest to find his head. The story is set in the Dutch settlement of Tarrytown, and the area now known as Sleepy Hollow is known for its ghostly legends and eerie tales. But there are other Headless Horsemen. In Irish folklore, for instance, there is the Dullahan, a headless horseman who carries his head under his arm. The Dullahan is one of the most feared and intriguing figures in Irish mythology. Described as a headless rider on a black horse, the Dullahan carries his head under one arm, his mouth is usually in a grotesque grin, and his eyes are said to move constantly back and forth and can see across the countryside, even in the darkest night. The Dullahan's origins can be traced back to the ancient Celtic belief in the power and symbolism of decapitation. In many cultures, beheading was seen as a way to separate the soul from the body, a powerful act that could release a spirit into the afterlife or bond it to a specific location. That's right, in Celtic lore, the head was considered the seat of the soul, so a headless figure would be especially eerie and very powerful. The Dullahan doesn't just roam aimlessly, he has a purpose. When he stops riding, it's believed that a death will occur. He's a harbinger of doom and a messenger of death. One of the most chilling aspects of the Dullahan is his whip, which is said to be made from a human spine. Pretty creepy, right? He uses his whip to lash out anyone who dares to look at him, causing blindness or even death. Unlike other supernatural entities that can be thwarted or appeased, the Dullahan is relentless. There's no way to stop him. He's a manifestation of death's inevitability. The only thing that might cause him to disappear is if he's confronted and offered some gold. Even a small amount can force him to retreat, which is an odd little wrinkle in the legend. Similar legends exist in German folklore as well. There's a story of the Wild Huntsman, a spectral figure who rides through the forest, often depicted as headless. This figure is believed to be an omen of disaster or death, much like the Dullahan. Well, did you know that there's a legendary Headless Horseman in Kentucky? In late December 1861, the Civil War was just getting started, and the nation was bitterly divided. Confederate cavalry commander Nathan Bedford Forrest saw an opportunity to strike a blow against Union forces in Kentucky, as he targeted a small Union detachment of 400 men led by Brigadier General Eli Murray near Sacramento. Despite being vastly outnumbered, Forrest hatched a daring plan to launch a surprise attack and overwhelm the Federals. Under the cover of night, Forrest's men approached the Union forces from all sides. The unsuspecting Yankees were caught off guard, and a fierce battle ensued. Despite their best efforts, General Murray and his soldiers had no choice but to retreat, hastily falling back towards the safety of Hopkinsville. Now, in the midst of the battle, one of Forrest's cavalrymen was knocked from his horse and landed in a patch of tall grass. During the fall, he hit his head and was knocked unconscious. Forrest's other men didn't see him, and they presumed he'd been killed in the skirmish. However, several miles away, one of the rebels saw his horse out in the woods, and he claimed it as his own. As the wounded Confederate soldier gradually regained consciousness, he found himself alone and disoriented. His stomach gnawed with hunger. He began foraging through the fields in McClean County, searching for berries and any morsel of food he could find. But unbeknownst to him, he was being watched. An old farmer who lived in a cabin atop a nearby hill, he had been observing the soldiers' struggles from afar. This farmer, a gruff and staunch Union supporter who despised the Confederate cause, watched the soldiers' desperate search for food. For hours, he remained hidden, observing every move. When it became dark, the farmer seized an opportunity. He quietly approached the weary soldier who had finally made his way to the farmer's well for a drink. With a revolver drawn, the farmer ordered the disheveled prisoner to raise his hands. The soldier complied as he pleaded for food and shelter. In a moment of unexpected mercy, the farmer decided to do more than just offer food. He scoffed at the soldier's request and promised him something even better: warmth and shelter in his cabin. The rebel soldier was relieved and happily followed the farmer into the cabin. However, the soldier's relief quickly turned to confusion. Upon entering the cabin, he realized the farmer was still holding the revolver, and the farmer motioned for him to climb the stairs. Not wanting any trouble, the soldier complied, climbing the creaky wooden steps while the farmer followed closely behind, gripping a heavy chain. Upon reaching the second floor, the farmer unceremoniously chained the soldier to the bed in a small room. Without uttering a word, the farmer descended the stairs and returned to his own bed, leaving his captive alone in the dimly lit room. The following morning, the farmer approached the soldier once more, still brandishing his revolver. He offered the prisoner a little food, a small piece of bread, and a cup of coffee, and he informed him that it was time to get to work. The farmer unchained the soldier and ordered him downstairs. Outside, the farmer handed the soldier an axe and ordered him to begin cutting down logs on the property. Sensing a fleeting opportunity for escape, the soldier mustered all his strength and reared back with the axe, intent on striking his captor down. But fate had other plans. In a single well-aimed shot, the farmer knocked his prisoner to the ground. But the soldier was still alive, his battered body struggling to move. Desperation and fear coursed through the farmer as he fumbled to fire his revolver one more time. Incredibly, it misfired. Seizing the moment, the wounded soldier attempted to rise, but his weakened state betrayed him, causing him to stumble backwards. With his firearm rendered useless, the farmer grabbed the axe. In a chilling and gruesome climax, he delivered a swift and deadly blow, severing the soldier's head from his body. The farmer, indifferent to the life he had taken, made no effort to bury the soldier's remains. Instead, he allowed the local wildlife, birds and scavengers, to pick his bones clean. Years passed, and the farmer eventually died. New families moved into the log cabin, unaware of its dark history. Yet they soon discovered they were not alone. Strange occurrences became commonplace. The eerie sounds of footsteps and rattling chains echoed through the house, particularly on the second floor. One former owner, a man named Clint Nall, was well aware of the ghostly presence. Late one night, while lying in bed in complete darkness, he heard the unmistakable sounds of someone approaching. The footsteps drew closer and closer until Nall felt a tug on his covers. Fear coursing through him, he leapt out of bed and rushed toward the shadowy figure. As he passed by a window where the moonlight was filtering in, he was struck by a chilling realization. The figure had no head. Oddly, others in the area began to share their own encounters with the headless soldier. Some claimed to have seen him riding his horse at night, galloping through the fields near the place where he met his untimely death. Today, the old log cabin's gone, but the legend of the Headless Horseman of McClean County, it still lives on. So if you want to learn more about the Headless Horseman or other tales in Kentucky, check out my book, Ghost Stories from Graveyard Tales, Kentucky. It can be found on Amazon, also Barnes & Noble. If you go to a store and they don't have it, ask the manager, they can order it for you. The book and all my books are available on Kindle, and they're free to read if you have Kindle Unlimited. Please like the video and the video on YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast. Be sure to follow us on Facebook too, Southern Ghost Stories. You can find me over at Twitter or X. I'm at ATO Allen. It's ATOALLEN. I drop stories there from time to time. I post my whereabouts. keep you guys updated. So I'm going to be at Nashville Horror Con July 20th and 21st. I'll be doing a panel on the haunted history of Tennessee. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. Lots of cool guests are going to be there. Mick Foley, the wrestler, will be there. He's Mankind in WWE, Cactus Jack in WCW. Make plans to come out and say hello. Grab a book or two. It's going to be a good time. So I had a lot of positive feedback on the Grave Robbing episode I did on the Prince of Body Snatchers in St. Louis a week or two ago. So next time, I'm going right back to the Grave Robbing. We're going to do a show on the Eagleville, Tennessee Body Snatcher. I'll see you then.